Welcome to the Brent and Malcolm Show. I'm Brent Hazard, a.k.a. Casper the Ghost, because no one knows how to shoot a white man in the studio. But with that said...
Casper the Ghost?
You don't know who that is? We're going to get into this. Hang on. First of all, Malcolm Johnson's out campaigning. Please remember to vote for Malcolm August 8th for Supervisor District 5. Socrates Garrett is stepping in. He's lost his razor. He looks like he's trying to grow an afro back. At times must be hard when you don't have any friends. But let me get off a little off the air. You do not watch cartoons with your grandkids, yes or no?
No, I do not watch cartoons with anyone. Grandchildren, elders, seniors, peers. I do not watch cartoons.
You say that like that's beneath you.
Well, I think it's a complete waste of time.
Bonding with your grandchildren is a waste of time.
That's not how I'm going to bond with my grandchildren.
How are you going to
bond with them? Because they're going to be in the foxhole with me in the war. They know it's a war raging, and we have to get at it. And so we're going to talk about those things that are important.
What war is raging?
We're going to be talking about some cartoon character, which I don't really know a cartoon character. Back in my day, I don't even recall one.
Bugs Bunny, you've never heard that name?
On a Plymouth commercial, because I was into fast cars.
Daffy Duck.
That was the Road Runner, though. That wasn't Bugs Bunny. That was the Road Runner.
Mickey Mouse, never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Donald Duck's brand new.
I did hear this about Mickey, though. Mickey took olive oil to court. And
what the hell are you talking about now?
Well, was that Mickey?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're just rambling. Well, no, you look like you've lost your mind.
No, I'm talking about the subject matter that you introduced, cartoons. You opened your show and went straight to some cartoons.
We literally were talking about this 30 seconds ago, and you said, my grandfather didn't watch crap with me. And I said, well, that was 1911. They didn't have TV back then, Socrates.
Well, he didn't watch anything with me, Brett.
And
he and I were just fine with each other. When I saw him, Brett, I wanted to get as far away from him as fast as I could, because I know the old man didn't play, and he didn't have a whole lot of time to tell me to do something once or twice, and I did not want the wrath of his displeasure. So I tried to say hello and goodbye.
So at least we're getting to the levels of the grounds of your narcissism, overturning lack of being held in love.
What you spent a lot of time with your grandfather?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. What did y'all do together?
Oh, we hunted.
Well, look how that turned out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember this ass whooping I'm about to give this African American. It's not going to be race-based. It's not going to be any type of animus. It's just going to be a personal person reminding another one of respect. But it's fine.
Yeah, we all good, Brent. We all good. I'm just not into cartoons. I didn't see them as a child.
Well, maybe you need to watch some of it as you get older and your mind slips.
For this current time in my life, I watched the series on Netflix called Suits. And, it's
You watch that crap, and you're too good to watch. For those who do not know, Suits is about a photographic genius.
That's right.
Who gets hired as a paralegal, smart enough than everybody in the room, but too lazy to pass the bar. So his solution, and the biggest firm in Manhattan solution, is for them to break the law constantly. One, all you had to do is make him a paralegal and have someone else signs it. But this moron practices law. Two, someone that smart would be in Vegas at the poker table counting cards or playing online poker and not be violating laws. Three, or he would be doing he would be a stockbroker. But that's what you like, that crap, where they make up trials, and because no one sits there and goes, let's see how many cases I can remember off the top of my head.
I don't recall them having a whole lot of time for foolishness, Brent. I recall them being about their clients and about the results and about the negotiation and the art of the deal.
When they were breaking the law by having a non-lawyer look like a...
The law only applies to those who got caught doing something. It doesn't apply to Americans in general. Who obeys the law anymore, Brent?
I do. As an officer of the court and a member of the board, I'm not giving up my numbers.
Yeah.
Brent Hazard, ex-prosecutor, follows the law.
So you drive the speed limit?
Huh?
Do you drive the speed limit?
Yes.
Really now?
Yes.
You're the only one in Jackson.
Well, I mean, welcome to being an officer of the court.
You need to get out the way. You out there holding up traffic.
You're the idiot that when there's a red light, you're one of the idiots that just drives across it now because you're too busy.
No,
you're that idiot.
No, I'm not that idiot. But I can tell you this: if I see the light about to change and I got a chance at that yellow, I'm on my way. The yellow does not mean slow down or stop. It means speed up and make the light.
And if you've been hit by an idiot like Socrates Garrett, you can hire me at 601-988-8888. And what we'll do is I'll teach you a phrase called beyond coverage. That's when we go after assets beyond coverage. But with all that said, you know what they call 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean. This is where we are. This is what you think entertainment is. Some joke from 1975. I'm
thinking they would call it a good start.
I hate everybody, Socrates. So I mean, what's your point? And I hate lawyers. You're the one watching a legal show
because you guys create all of these laws designed to enrich yourselves, and then at the expense of those who cannot afford to pay.
And see, this is what's perfect. Okay, this is what's perfect right now, and this is what's wrong in Mississippi: perception versus reality. Because the perception is some of that conspiracy crap that these lawyers are creating all these laws. And I'm not going to say it at one point in the 1980s or the 50s or 60s, like property. Property, you'll get into Old English law, and if anybody knows anything about property law, when you buy a house or when you're deeding anything, you have to do a title search because they're still using terms from actual Old England. The old common law, fee simple absolute. And they keep that because they want to keep it complicated for people on who's got what interest, future interest, non-vested interest, life estates. So I agree with you on that. But anybody who's paid attention since 2000, the problem with my profession is that 70% of it is dumbass Republicans who are voting against themselves. And I was telling our producer.
Why do you have a problem with Republicans, and why are you calling them dumbass?
Because my parents were Republicans. I don't have a problem. Someone like you that's in construction, or someone that like my parents that were in transportations, I would not be friendly to lawyers. I understand that. I have no problem. Walmart should not be promoting better lives for lawyers. It's an adversary. Walmart gets sued all the time. Slip and falls, workers' comp. I understand all that. Yay, Walmart. What kills me and what I was calling them dumbasses, not Republicans, Republican lawyers. Because what you're doing is voting against yourself. You're cutting your own throat, which is just a thing of Mississippi. I understand that. But for instance, in Georgia, they came up and they said, well, we need tort reform in Georgia. The Georgia bar got together and said, in our opinion, anything comes out of that legislature that's against us is unconstitutional. And what they were saying is, pass it, find out. We're too stupid to do that. And what happens is these Republican defense attorneys sits there and goes, we don't want to make anybody angry. We don't want to. And it used to be when I graduated in '99, federal court was about $50,000 to try a case. State court was $30,000 because you had less to do. Right now, they're paying lawyers $5,000 to take cases of trial in state court. $5,000 flat fees because we're too stupid to see the and everybody's worried about, I got to pay for my car today. Hey, man, maybe we need to get together and get a little union, or maybe we need to do what those dentists and doctors do. 26 dentists graduated this year, I've been told by some dentists. Doctors, it don't matter if you got the greatest MCAT score. If we had the 52nd smartest person in the world try to get them to UMC, they're going to say, we got 50 spots, brother. 50 only. That's all we got. You walk your ass on. Well, we need more doctors. That's great. Maybe you feel that way, but we got the bar numbers and the license or whatever. we're not going to saturate the market because we all have to eat here, and we might all hate each other at the club, but we understand how we get paid, so we ain't going to put too many of these people in it. Now, let me stretch that to you, and we're going to transition a little bit. I understand what you just heard, and this is what I want your comment on.
Wow.
5 black men.
Am I going to have to escort you out of here after that little speech you made?
Escort me from whom?
From all of the people at UMMC that's running the dental school and all of those.
Oh no, they're proud of that. They're regulating their market. I mean, another example. You remember that? I don't know, and this is not a derogatory question. I just don't know when I became aware of accountants when I went into the accounting industry. Do you remember a time where you did not have to go to college to be a CPA?
No, I don't remember. You
used to not have to go to college. You had to pass the test. Okay? So what would happen is you had these secretaries and bookkeepers that would stay there and work and learn the accounting as well as the CPA, and they would go take the test. And they were becoming CPAs. Then they said, oh, well, you got to go to college. Okay? Student loans got to a point where more accountants were coming out and passing the CPA exam. So then they said...
Coming out of where?
Colleges. Because they required a college. It wasn't to advance the profession. It was to lessen the numbers and protect the profession and have a higher demand or make an artificial barrier so there's a higher demand in what they pay you.
Is that like having poll tax before you can be able to vote?
No, it's kind of like having economic barriers or making sure they hire geographically or through minorities first. It's kind of making sure you take care of yours so you can eat.
Wow.
With all that said, then they said they need a master's. And when I was in college, they changed it where you just had to have a master's. So a lot of kids were going to get an MBA, which is a lot easier. And then they said, no. Or some people were going to get a master's of education. No. Now you have to get a master's. When I graduated, you had to have a master's of accountancy or a master's of taxation. One, as you know, academia has not a damn thing to do with how the world works. Those are the people who are teaching you in college and academia about how the world should be, how we should treat each other. They don't understand about that. And this is a classic example I'll give about practicing law. You learn how to swim when you're in law school. When you're in law school, you put your head down, you float, and then when you get out in the real world, first thing you notice before you jump in that pool, hey, why are y'all putting these chains on my ass? We didn't practice with chains. Hey, what's in that water? Sharks. No one told me there's going to be sharks in that water. Oh, yeah, you got to get through there. So you just winging it, and instead of working together to make sure we get through the shark-invested, because this is what I spend half my time doing. I literally am emailing a gentleman. What's happening is there's a lot more advanced lawyers doing simple, and I don't mean they're simple, but like 5-6 years ago, I was doing some high complex cases. Now I'm doing slip and falls and car wrecks because that's what I'm allowed to do. Now I do it at a high complex level, but they're not complicated cases. So usually these defense attorneys, I had a couple the other day just lied to the court and they thought they were going to get away with it. They thought I was going to be scared. And next thing you know, I was trying to get their jobs. And next thing you know, they were in front of a federal judge trying to explain to them what happened. Next thing you know, my client got a big check. And what I'm telling you is, if you look at the cities and opportunities to advance, why you and I disagree, and I got 2 points I want to bring up with you. This first segment, 5 black men voted against 5 supervisors of Hinds County. Some I consider friends, some I do not. Some are, and I don't have real enemies on there in my opinion, but maybe I do. They voted against another black vendor for garbage contract. What was the gentleman's name?
Lee Bush.
And tell us a little bit about Lee Bush.
Well, first of all, I need to go back and understand some of what you just said.
Okay. I used some big words.
No,
I was trying to keep it simple.
No, it wasn't big words.
Maybe we could get a cartoon in here.
No, we don't need that either. So the deal is this. So you said that the market.
You know what cartoon you'd like?
No, I don't.
Smurfs. It's about a lot of small people
I wouldn't like
trying
any,
to dominate
I wouldn't
the world.
like any cartoon, but most small people dominate the world anyway.
Do they?
Yeah, go back and look at Napoleon and Hitler.
Hitler was the word you're looking for.
Hitler, yeah.
Fine examples of humanity.
Well, I'm just telling you, people who dominated the world, whether you like them or not, look at Putin. But whatever you want.
The one that got ran off and he had to take a secret train out of Moscow.
I don't know. Any big people like you are normally too passive. And I guess as a kid you have to learn how to restrain yourself because you're big. But little people like me learn how to fight early, quickly.
This is you being quick.
We know that the chances of
us. You're talking about physically quick, not mentally quick.
I'm talking about both.
Oh, because I mean, maybe
both.
You're high.
It had nothing to do with It had nothing to do with just physicality only. It was mental as well.
Did you lose that ability as you got older?
No, I didn't. I still carry it today.
Are you sure?
I got to get off first.
So it's like talking to Biden a little bit.
No.
It's like really talking to Biden. But anyway, back to Lee Bush. Lee Bush, tell me about it.
A good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he just called me on the phone. Well, I couldn't talk to him because I'm on the show. But
maybe you should interview him.
Well, why would I interview him? I was sitting next to him when we went before the Board of Supervisors. What is there to interview?
Was our audience? Maybe you should have filmed that. Did a documentary about that.
Well, I don't need to do a documentary about that. It seems you just explained it to me how you want to keep your numbers low in certain categories so that your piece of the pie will be as larger than it had always been. And in your situation now, you deploy people like the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors to carry out your work now on your behalf, so they make sure that your slice of the pie is the same as it's always been, regardless of who's in charge. And that's what we find.
That's
here.
what you took from that speech.
Yeah, that's what
oppression is what you took instead of saying
exactly,
it's a we.
That's exactly what you said.
So wait a minute.
You said it could be the smartest man in the world, but they already have 50
seconds, smartest man. If they got 50, you ain't getting in the
I'm
UFC.
not getting in.
It's not because of the color of your skin. It's because
because you want to control the market. You regulating the market.
And you're not saying hire minority workers. That's not a regulation of markets.
No, because it's already been regulated out. I'm trying to break through the barrier.
But what I'm trying to say, it's a new regulation, and I'm not arguing against that you should not be trying to change the regulation. I'm just saying you're trying to impose a regulation that benefits you. And I'm good with that. I have no problem with that. That's economics. There's one steak here, and we're going to eat. One of us going to go hungry. And the hungry dog going to eat, and I'm good with that.
I don't have no steak. I don't know what that's like. I see it. You always over there.
What kind of watch is that? That's called a Rolex. It's an oyster, ain't it?
That's right.
The Rolex oyster. Very expensive. Handmade, I think.
Very expensive. Very expensive. But that's because...
And over here on this wrist.
That's a nice piece of jewelry.
That's a nice piece of...
That's a nice ring there, Brad.
Nice ring there. Go ahead.
Like Mr. T down here.
We got some gold.
You got some gold. And here's the deal.
Okay.
You can't stop all of us with your regulation.
I'm not trying to stop all of you.
Well, I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying the system.
Literally just said me personally. Literally said you. I mean, if you need me to play the villain, but my point is not the more
I need you to be who you are. You don't need to play anything.
Let me dumb it down for you, okay? Okay, I'm gonna dumb it down for you in the Suits closing argument, okay? In the Suits closing argument, I'm saying you better know what tribe you're from, and you better make sure your tribe is for you, because these fools in Mississippi, and this is where you and I disagree constantly. You see everything, and I understand if I've gone through what you've gone through. You see everything as white and black, and when I'm telling you stupidity transcends race. Stupidity and ego and narcissism transcends race. And what the biggest opponent in Mississippi, in my opinion, is since we know white, black, green, yellow, we don't fight, we're fat, we're stupid, we lie. There's no point in getting a tribe if you ain't going to war. And the problem is, that's why we're going to have the lowest turnout in statewide voting. That's why we had that shenanigans over at the Democratic Party. But we are running out of time. I owe you a break. We're going to come back. This is what I'm going to talk with Socrates at. I'm going to ask him his opinion about the garbage contract. I'm going to get him to talk about the affirmative action decision of the Supreme Court in Clarence-Thomas. And then the third segment, we're going to talk a couple of more things coming up. Stay tuned.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Do you have something to say? Do you want your voice heard? Join the We Believe Global lineup. Be the star of your own show. For more info, call 800-492-5186, option number 1, or visit online at webelieve.global.
This is Brent Hazard, joined back for Socrates Garrett. We're going back to the Hinds County Board of Supervisors' decision to go hire waste management. Can stay with waste management. I don't have a dispute with that per se, but learning from you, who is if status quo is status quo, nothing changes. And if you're because of racism, let's be fair, if you're the have-nots in the poorest state of the union, if you're not trying something new, you're going to get the same results. What was your opinion on what the board did? Should they try to divide the county up? I talked to a couple of supervisors about it, and they did not, what they articulated to me was they did not want to rock the boat in an election year. The constituency of Hinds County was satisfied with waste management, and they did not want to get into the dispute they got into in the city. Your response, your observation.
Well, first of all, let me just go back and give a little background on that situation. Hinds County sent out a request for a proposal to pick up garbage in the county, not the city of Jackson, but in the county, which includes the rural areas in the county, along with the city of Byram, which is in Hinds County. So they sent out this request for a proposal. They only got 2 responders. They got one from a black man, Lee Bush. The name of his company is National Collection System. They've been picking up.
Okay, go ahead.
They've been picking up the garbage in Jackson, Madison County, the city of Canton, Hinds County for the last 20 plus years. And so the board did not bring the results of the bids to the attention of the county administrator, did not bring the results of the bids to the board, but 3 days before the actual vote, which was on the 26th of June, I believe, and the contract expires June 30. And so the board came back and they recommended and selected waste management over Lee Bush's firm, National Collection Systems. The price differential was National Collection said we will pick up the garbage in the county and in Byram for $11 per household. Waste Management's bid came back and said we will pick up the same number of households for $16 per household. There are reportedly 17,000 households in the county, inclusive of Byram, the city. And so $5 per household times 17,000 is the bogey that we have here. Some $50-some thousand a month, $60,000 a month. I can do the math right quick, but it's almost $1 million a year savings for them to have gone with the African American firm at $11 per household versus Waste Management at $6. But an all African American board consisting of 5 African American men decided that they wanted to stay with Waste Management. Now, according to the host of this show, I just learned that they wanted to stay with Waste Management because it's an election cycle. They did not want to rock the boat. They didn't want to go through the trouble and the issues that the city of Jackson recently went through.
Well, I mean, and also because they were satisfied, and they told me their constituency was satisfied with what the service Waste Management was providing.
Last time I checked, their constituency consists of a county that's 80% African American. Would you think that an African American firm in a majority African American county with $1 million savings could receive the award? And if they cannot, where the hell should an African American owned business go? Where do they have a chance to grow? Where do they have an opportunity? Should they go then to their master, go crawling back to the plantation and says, well, you know, there are no opportunities out here for me. Please take me back, sir?
Let me ask you this. Where is the lack? It's not even anger from the constituency of Hinds County or other African Americans in the state, because I could point out voter turnout. I could point out the Democratic Party was. I want to get your opinion on that. Where is do you think it's just ignorance of people not understanding the economics and the loss of economics?
It's not people, Brent.
Okay.
It's not.
There were 5 people on that board, so yeah, I don't know who you think voted.
Those 5 people, what's the population of Hinds County? 250,000, somewhere now?
I think it's closer to 3.
About 300,000? Yes. We're talking about 5.
Yeah. But it's an election year, so what I'm saying is if enough people would have said...
the election is coming up, Brent.
August 8th.
It's coming up August 8th. So
and
I'd like for you to see and make that argument about the people, that they represent the people, as we see the results of the election that rolls out.
Okay.
And if the people are satisfied with that, if a 300,000 populated county, of which 80% of them are African Americans, are happy with that, then I suggest that all African American businesses get the hell out of here as fast as you possibly can. Because if you're the low bidder and have a history of performance, and you cannot win with your own folk as the elected representatives, it's time to get the hell out of here.
But back to my theory, or my opinion is, and we've run out of time again. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back.
Socrates Garrett ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycling aggregates and crushed concrete. Socrates Garrett ENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.DOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using Socrates Garrett ENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
are back. It's the Brent and Malcolm show. Now, we took an early break because I looked up and saw double zeros on the clock. Someone accused me of having to take a break because the things got a little hot. I just want to correct someone on the air, and that will never happen on this show. But my point is, my theory is this. No matter who you elect, they're there for one reason, to keep their job. No, white, black. Well, we're talking about Barack Obama, Trump, Biden, whoever, They are not there to keep their job. That's exactly.
Quit spreading this misinformation.
You don't think politicians?
They are there to distribute the wealth to those they like.
That's keeping their job. You don't see a connection there.
No,
let me ask you this. Let's get off of race.
Make sure waste management continues to get the business for another 50 years.
Let's take Haley Barbour.
Take him.
Take Haley Barbour.
Good friend of mine.
Look at you stand up for him.
He's a good friend of mine, Brent.
Was he a good friend when he was wearing that Confederate flag pin? I'm just asking.
I don't know. I never saw the Confederate flag pin. I don't know.
I saw it.
Okay.
But with that said, it was a little mistake.
But the Confederate flag didn't hurt Lee Bush last week. But the end of June, the 3rd of July, the Confederate flag was nowhere around when that black man got kicked down, denied an opportunity because he was rightfully the low bidder and should have been awarded the contract. There was no Confederate flag.
But
Mr. Bush would love to see a Confederate flag today.
I'd have to hear that from Mr. Bush. But my point is this.
I believe Mr. Bush would have been awarded the contract by 5 conservative, Confederate pin wearing Republicans if they were $1 million less in that environment.
I'll defer to you because I haven't had the honor of meeting
you don't
Mr.
believe
Bush.
that, huh? As a white man, if you were down there and you were voting and the situation came before you, how would you have voted?
No, look, and so we're clear. Okay? Yeah. I undervalue, as you know, race a lot because I assume people are like me, and whether it's winning a case, winning a pickup basketball game, whatever, I want dogs. And one of the problems we have in Mississippi, because I think I've never been to war.
What do you mean you want dogs? I'm not of your generation.
Okay. When you were in the Army,
yeah,
okay, and you had something to accomplish,
yeah,
and it was either you don't accomplish it, or you had tasks to accomplish, or there was a punishment, correct?
That's right.
Do you give a damn who screwed that up, whether they were white or black, or did you give a damn that maybe they came from an alcoholic home, or did you just want the job done?
I want the job done.
There we go. And what I'm saying is,
that's why I don't watch cartoons.
When you're if you watch some of them, you get some of this too. If you're drowning in the ocean, or if there's a shark swimming, you don't give a damn who comes rescue you,
no.
But you want someone to get the job done.
That's right.
Okay? So what I'm saying is, my family lost a fortune because Greenville, the city, predominantly at the time white, was too stupid to understand we had to start investing in Greenville. Whether that was possibly the first casino that we missed out on, whether that was Delta State we missed out on, we were more worried about what was going on at the country club. And oh my God, Greenville will always be the affluent. Idiots will drive the Titanic into an iceberg, okay? And what I'm saying is, there's no anger there. There was no theory. There was no self-preservation there. I see the same thing going on in Jackson, but I see it. You could say exactly what you said, and I could tell you that's the legal community. And you could sit there and every analogy, why I don't dispute what you're saying to a certain degree. The one issue I dispute is the racial component because...
Well, it's not a racial component, Brent. They're all black.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, and your anger, to me, you and I will disagree because you and I have had this argument multiple times. I don't think we ever need leaders. I think great leaders come from us. I think we demand, it's like teachers. I've seen too many schools and too many teachers in my world. If that PTA's full and those professors are saying, little Jimmy made a B and that ain't good enough, we'll get a new teacher in here unless he makes an A. Magically, that teacher, because those people, whether they say, well, we need this for little Jimmy to make an A, you got it. Or the little Jimmy needs to study here, here, and here. Well, the little Jimmy going to do that, but if little Jimmy still don't pass, your ass going to get another job. What I see happening in Mississippi is people like, well, Jimmy's doing the best he can. But you know what? Jimmy eating well. You know, we don't have the technology and we don't have the culture, and there's not really anything like we have in New Orleans or Memphis. But we can eat.
Yeah, that's when we can be the most unhealthiest population.
The fattest, dumbest population. I understand.
And we can be that,
but
too.
the population, white and black, accepts that, and they don't want to strive. You don't know how many times I've told lawyers. Like I said, I got this guy right now threatening me over email right now because he's offended I've done something. And I was like, yeah, thank you. Next, file your motion. See you in court. He wants me to say, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't do what you want. I'm sorry. Ain't gonna happen. It's an adversarial procedure. I follow the rules. I follow the rules, and when I get a chance to cut your throat professionally, someone called me up the other day or emailed me and said, look, man, do you mind if I got an extension? My mom just died. I emailed the court. Let's give the guy 30 days. Court gave him 2 weeks. I was like, man, that's mama. You need 30 days. But I did what I could. But as soon as we get back in that, as soon as he handles family business and he crosses a line with me and I can cost him his job, I'm going to try to cost him his job. But go ahead.
I don't get you, Brent.
Why not?
You want the man to have 30 days to bury his mama.
Yes.
But as soon as he gets back from the funeral, you're going to cost him his job.
No. You cross the line. That's what you don't understand. There's rules to the game. Okay? And if you cross one of them rules, meaning I recently had some attorneys tell the court I did not produce one medical bill in a case. Not one. I produced $600,000 worth. They used them. I filed so much heat. Now, I ain't call them a bunch of lying sacks of garbage, but bruh, I quoted the law, applied the law, wrote a 35-page brief, had 16 exhibits. Oh, and then they quit talking to me. Before now, they're like, you can take it to court. Well, take it. You this way? Because when I walk through the courtroom doors, they say, welcome back, Mr. Hazard. When you walk in, you got to go through the metal detector because they don't know who you are. Because what I do right here, it's my job. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll be back over here Monday. You all nervous about a fight, baby. I've been fighting since 3rd grade. With all that said, I'll tell you this. Michael Phillips used to pinch me in 1st grade. I took some tweezers, took them, bang.
In what grade?
1st. I was in the principal's office. You can't be stabbing people. I was like, I didn't stab him. I pinched him. It was like, you stabbed him.
So
whatever.
This is not a learned behavior that you have.
Hey, cousin, it's the way the world works. Whatever game you want to play over here. You want to be nice? I'll be nice. You want to be cordial? Well, you want to do it by ethically?
But don't pinch you.
No. Cross the line, we can go there. We're fine there. My point is, the state of Mississippi, white, black, or yellow, if you really want me to, let's get into a little race here.
Go ahead.
I believe the black population has adopted the white population's laziness and the comfort of Mississippi, coming from the agricultural community where we're so used to, I hate talking to farmers because this is what they say. We didn't get enough rain. Oh, what we going to do? I guess we hope we get some rain. Oh, we got too much rain. Well, what are we going to do? I hope it stops raining. It's like, build something, Bubba. Get out there and do something. And I do believe, and then you throw in the subsidies, which is government welfare. and you've taken all the drive and motivation from our state. And now we're small townitis when no one, I don't think you're lacking. I don't think your enemy, this is where you and I disagree. Your enemy is not those 5 supervisors. Your true enemy are the people who have experienced discrimination, saying, okay, while you and I can disagree on what the cause, and we have several times on this show and other shows, of what is truly the cause of discrimination, you need an army to fight a war.
Yeah.
And whether we're talking about Ukraine, you need weapons and resources.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking about Vietnam, I don't see anybody at the Secretary of State, or excuse me, the Democratic Party. I was talking about the Secretary of State Democratic candidate who made. What was your opinion of Irving stepping down? Tyree Irving stepping down the Democratic Party, rescinding that, and then them getting in a shouting match. What was your opinion of all that?
I haven't followed that too closely. A good friend of mine, Robert Hickenbottom.
Too busy watching cartoons?
No, not that. But sometimes these boards of supervisor meetings remind me of cartoons, but I don't even watch that. And so I didn't even take recess when I was in school. I didn't do that. So the deal is this, Brent.
What do you mean you didn't take recess in schools?
I didn't go outside.
What the hell does that mean? When everybody went out and played ball or something?
I didn't go out there.
Why?
I stayed in the classroom.
Why? You got tired of not getting picked?
I didn't.
You got tired of not getting picked? Is that what it was?
I knew that I had to try to change my position and my condition.
In 3rd grade?
In 3rd grade. But it don't take you long to figure that out.
So you were the only one out there?
It don't take you long to figure that out, man.
Is that why you don't make friends well?
To see that.
Is that why you don't make friends well?
That your book that has C-Spot run in it doesn't have but 15 pages? It doesn't take you long to figure that out. And then it's got all these names in it that other people have had it before you did. All these white kids had the books before they came to you. It don't take you long to figure out where you are.
Back to my question. Do you see the issues or lack of leadership in the Democratic Party, the same issues you're dealing with the Board of Supervisors or African-American leadership in the Jackson metro area not awarding African-American contracts? Do you see a correlation, causation? Do you see a connection?
I'm sure it's one there, Brett. I cannot understand what the Democratic Party was trying to accomplish and why Tyree had to step down. I'm not sure what happened there. I know that Brandon Presley is the Democratic candidate for the Democratic Party. And I know he didn't want the other candidates like Robert Hickenbottom to be in his race. So the Democratic Party decided that they wanted Brandon to have a free run during the primary. And so that they made that decision.
Well, Robert Higginbotham was disqualified, and people would argue that he was a Republican plant. But what happened was the Democratic National Party was about to give $250,000 to the state party, and the chairman, Mr. Irving, said he was going to use it mostly to the gubernatorial race, which violated state laws and state regulations. The second in command emailed a group, said no, we'll comply with state regs, and the Secretary of State candidate obviously had a dog in the fight. He was offended by it, and next thing you know, Mr. Irving resigned, or said he was going to resign, but at the committee he changed his mind, and on the Zoom call it was a shouting match, described by using the Mississippi Today's words. What I'm saying is, I don't care which way we cut this hog. I don't. Now, I will argue until I'm blue in the face, race-based politics are always going to disserve the Democrats based on the population. With that said, I don't know how we get Mississippi to vote. I don't know how we get Mississippi to give a damn. I don't know how we get Mississippi to fight. And I've given up trying to convince people.
Well, Dr. Henderson says this, and the white community has done a good job in voting in solidarity over the issues that affect them the most. They've done a great job of that. I give them credit for that. So that tribe is intact and in place. African Americans tried to make a move in that direction under the leadership of folk like Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Harold Washington in Chicago, Harvey Johnson in Jackson. They tried to make a move and said, any contracts coming out of here will have minority participation in it. At 25%, don't call on me unless you got a minority partner. They tried to make that move. What has happened now, though, Martin Luther King died and gave his life fighting for the economics of African Americans. He said, it does a man no good to be able to go in any restaurant that he chooses to if he cannot afford the price of a hamburger. He understood that. So he said that the issue is about economics. So everybody was fighting to try to move the bar in economics. Then we get to this current day situation. I've seen it both at the city and I see it now in the county, where African American majority people vote against the economics of African Americans. That means that we have a shift going in the other direction now that is more dangerous, is going to cause greater harm than the fight that King had. And so we got a real dangerous situation here right now. And then you want to talk about why you have voter apathy and people not coming out to vote? Because they don't see politicians representing them. So they have passive aggressiveness. They stay at home because nothing changes for them. And so we are in a new era that I've never seen before, I never witnessed before. You made a comment about my natural. We're in an era now where a black man does not like or respect a black man. That's new for me. In all of my life, black folk had an affiliation and an affection for one another. When I was a boy, and Joe Louis would come on the radio in a boxing match, and black families all across the world were locked in on that radio. What do you think they were listening for, Brent? They were hoping that Joe Louis would make a stand for them, because when he knocked the white man down, it was like, I knocked him down. I knocked the oppressor down. So they were gathered around the radio. Do you think black folk can gather around the radio when we have a board of supervisor meeting now? Do you think that we have any affiliation and affection and caring for one another? No. So we're in a new day and time.
We're running over time, and we got another show following ours. So for the Brent Malcolm Show, we're going to end here, and thank you for listening. We'll be back next week.